Suasday na itong Oknia. Welcome to Khmer Voices, where we shine a spotlight on the achievements of the Khmer diaspora around the world. I'm your host, Wanni, aka Vanny. I hope you're finding tons of value in these Khmer Voices episode, whatever stage you are in your careers. In today's episode with Dimary, we discuss mentorship and exploring non-traditional career options. And then we touch on feeling uncertain and having to decide on a career choice at 18. Like, do you guys remember that? Having to figure out what you had to do at 18 for the rest of your life, or at least for a good chunk of your life? From not knowing any English in kindergarten to returning to school for computer science at 35 years old after spending a lot of time as a stay-at-home mom. Her story shows you it's never too late to make the life you want. So I've known Mary since childhood in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Today, she lives just outside Montreal, Quebec, Canada, with her husband and their 2 kids. She's been with her current company since her internship in 2016 and is now a technical lead delivering IT projects. So let's get to know Mary. I trust regardless of whatever stage you are in your career, you're going to find her story inspiring.
So I was also shy. And then when I started kindergarten, I didn't speak any English. But luckily, I had Tia in my class. I don't know if you
I interviewed her.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
So she was in my class and she was my best friend. And she spoke English, or better English than I did because I didn't speak any. And so she kind of like helped me through kindergarten, right?
Mm-hmm.
And got me through everything. And then when we moved to grade 1, the teachers were like, oh, we have to split them up. And so they took her away from me. And then it was like I actually had to speak English because I had her as a translator for like a whole year.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, I know that she surrounded herself with very keen and ambitious people and, you know, a smart crowd. So kudos to you for being an influence on her as well, because you pushed her to excel.
Yes, she was super smart.
Mm-hmm. So one question I like to ask before anything else is, how do you pronounce your Khmer name?
Actually, my mom just calls me Marie.
Uh-huh.
But but my full name is Dimary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when I started school, they're like, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so we're going to call you Mary. And so that's how I got my name, Mary.
Yeah, no, that makes
sense. Didn't know how to pronounce it, and I couldn't tell them how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
So it's funny, as an adult, like, so in my career, people know me as Dimary, just for like HR, you fill out your name and then that kind of sticks with you. If ever my coworkers met like people that I actually hang out with, outside of work, they wouldn't know who Mary is because they don't know me as Mary.
Uh-huh.
And then my friends like outside of work don't know me as Dimary. So it's
exactly.
Like,
yeah, no, it was funny because I didn't realize that your full first name is Dimary until we became connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about yourself, like when your family came to Canada, your siblings, how you were influenced, and what you studied and what you're doing now?
Okay. So my parents, they left Cambodia. I wasn't born yet. Then my mom got pregnant while they were running away from the war. Well, the war was already over, but they didn't know that it would stay like no war or war was coming. And so they had me in the Thai campground, right? I think most of us were like born in the 81 era. Yeah, most of us were born in the campground. And so by the time I got to Canada, I was 1-ish, around 1. So practically grew up here. But knowing that, and I think back, I was 5 years old in kindergarten, and I still didn't speak English because all we spoke was Khmer at home. And then I remember always I think it was 3rd grade, I did really poorly on a reading assignment. I got like an N for like non-satisfactory. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how did I get this? Like, this is like so bad. So I worked really hard. I learned to be a better reader, so that I could be better because, getting an N was not good. And then so then it just kind of fueled me going forward, and then I became like, straight A student, worked really hard in school, went on to, university. Although I didn't really do anything after university. Like
Mm.
I don't want to say I'm ashamed, but like I really did nothing with my life after university. I met Mike, my husband now.
Hmm.
Just worked, like just different jobs. And then we moved out to Montreal. Well, we live outside of Montreal, but most people won't know where we are.
But didn't you have a
Uh,
young child then as well? Like
Actually, I got pregnant after I moved to Quebec.
oh, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, so like Mike had opportunities in the family business out here. So we're like, we have nothing to lose. We have no kids at the time.
Hmm.
We weren't tied down to Hamilton, so we
Hmm.
moved out here. And I went on the road with him because he worked on the road until I got pregnant. And then I was like, oh, okay, so like this is the next chapter of my life, which was fine. I was ready to, start a family.
Hmm.
Then, so I have two kids. I was stay at home mom. And then my last kid was going to kindergarten. I'm like, I have to do something with my life. I'm like, I'm no longer like a stay at home mom. I have no kids at home. I need
Uh-huh.
to, contribute to the family, to society. And so I went back to school, actually. I went back to school for computer science. Quebec has a really great program. They have a good daycare system. And
Hmm.
we call it CEGEP here. It's kind of like college in the rest of Canada. So you finish high school in Quebec, then it's mandatory to do 2 years of CEGEP, which is equivalent to college, I think. Then you have 3 years of university. So I just did a technical program at CEGEP. I graduated, got my certification, I got an internship at an IT company, and then they hired me on afterwards, and I'm still there today.
That's
Just
amazing.
yeah. So yeah, so now I'm like permanently living in Quebec, work
Uh-huh.
here, and I don't think I'm going back to Hamilton.
So growing up, who did you look up to?
Yeah, so growing up, it was my parents. They were hard workers.
Hmm.
They went to work every day, never missed a day, never took a sick day, even though they were sick. They were always punctual. And my mom, especially, she takes pride in her work. Like anything she, not just like work, but like
Hmm.
outside of work, whatever she touched, she took pride in, and was like always the best that she could do. And so, like seeing that every day really like inspired me to excel and to have good work ethic. And then also learning how they came to Canada, how they abandoned everything, their family, their home, just so that they could, be safe,
Hmm.
because at the time like my mom wasn't pregnant yet, right? So they were just trying to survive, and so like that's really brave.
Yeah, I mean, when you have no other options, you have no other options. You have to do what you have to do, and they came here with nothing, right?
Yeah.
Which
No.
is it's crazy. I remember my mom saying that they were sponsored by the government, and when she got a job, she actually had to pay the government back. So it's not like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, maybe that was with your parents too. I know a lot of Cambodian families
No,
were sponsored
it wasn't
by.
like that for my parents, actually.
Okay,
They were
I know that.
sponsored by the church.
Exactly. I was going to say that a lot of Cambodian families were sponsored by a church or someone affiliated with the church, like a family affiliated with the church. But my parents were sponsored by the government. We didn't have assistance from the church. Fortunately, I know that there was a family in Burlington that was already settled in before we came here, so they helped us. I remember them helping us a lot too
Okay,
when
we
we first.
moved to sorry, we came to Saskatchewan first.
Yeah.
I didn't wasn't in Ontario.
Oh. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. How come you guys resettled in Hamilton? Was it a bigger
My
community there?
parents thought it was too cold in Saskatchewan. It was like minus whatever.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
You come from a tropical place, and they couldn't do it. I think
Yeah.
they spent one winter and they couldn't do it. They said it was
Hmm.
too cold.
What kind of challenges did you have growing up? There was a language barrier. We talked about that. Were there any other challenges that you faced that you're just like, oh man, if only this?
Maybe not being able to do things, going out and
Mm.
hanging out with friends, staying like having I never had a curfew, just wasn't allowed to go out,
Yeah.
right? I
Same. I just pushed it when I was, that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to go off to university. I was like, I'm not staying in Hamilton. I didn't even apply to McMaster
oh,
because I was like,
okay.
I want to live my life because I was confined in the to staying at home all the time. Like, do you remember Midnight Madness at
Yes.
Dimary? Yeah, I wasn't
Yes.
allowed to go. Whereas
Oh,
my younger brother, he was allowed to go. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, double standards. So
Yeah.
I took it to the extreme though. I moved out when I was 18. I was still in high school. I moved out.
Oh, wow.
I was my last semester. I
Uh-huh.
moved out with Mike. Worked part-time job. He worked
Yeah.
part-time job. We were able to pay rent,
Wow.
and I'm like, well, if I can't do anything living here, I'm leaving, and I left.
You know what I forgot to ask you? Do you have any siblings? And are they in
I
Hamilton?
do. Okay, so I have two brothers.
Mhm.
One is my oldest. He's adopted. My parents actually adopted him from the war, and so he was there first. And then my parents had me, and then when we came to Saskatchewan, then my parents had actually the no, my mom might have been pregnant because she had my brother in Ontario,
Mm. Okay, so
my
he was
youngest
born in
brother.
Canada.
So yeah, yeah, exactly.
So your parents inspired you. At a professional level, did you look up to anybody? Like in one of your emails to me, you said that it was advice to yourself, but a lot of Cambodian families are like, "Oh, do you want to be a teacher, a doctor, lawyer?" Which is pretty common thing to offer up to kids, not just in our community, but in general.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, also, I didn't know what other options were offered to other kids there,
Yeah.
not Cambodian. So you always think that those are the typical like career path.
So was there anyone professionally that you looked up to? Did you have someone that you aspired to be like?
I didn't have anyone until I started my internship. So after I started in IT industry, then my first manager, she's inspired me. She's like amazing. I don't
Mhm.
think I could have asked for a better mentor. She literally laid the groundwork for where I am today.
Mhm.
I don't think I would be where I am without her coaching and guiding me to be successful. Like, of course, there's your own skills and stuff, but if you don't have anyone to guide you through the process,
You're kind of,
oh,
yeah, you're
it's
like,
hard.
what step do I take next? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you because you have chosen a career path that is not typical of the Asian, well, I shouldn't say Asian community, but a Cambodian female. And it would be nice to, have someone, even if it's like someone our age who's looking to change careers or someone younger, it's representation matters, right? When someone sees you doing it, they're like, oh, okay, well, I think I could. I'd like to do that too. Maybe I should reach out to her. It's just that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast to kind of highlight and celebrate like the fact that we don't have to be restricted to a certain type of career path, and it could be said for any other ethnicity. But I think in the Cambodian community, it's we don't see it very often, and you
no,
see other people of different races or ethnicities and countries like in those sorts of fields, and it kind of legitimizes their desire when they see someone in a position that is not typical of Cambodians. Having said that, can you tell us about your career path? You started an internship and then you've been there since. How long have you been there? And how old were
um,
you when you started this
I went
career?
back to school at 35.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So I was the mom of the class because I was going to school with 18-year-olds.
Hmm. But it
There
goes to
and
show that it's never too late to start
no,
like the life that you want. Even
yeah,
at
I
how old
didn't.
are we now? 42. Even at
Oh yeah,
42, you
okay.
can start you can start a new career path.
You have to reinvent yourself or
Mhm.
take yourself to the next level, right? So
Exactly. Yeah. So I sorry I interrupted a bit or we kind of digressed. But yeah, tell us like 35 intern
yeah. Well, actually, before
what are
I
you
got
doing
to
now?
the
Okay.
intern, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my
Mhm.
life, right? Like I went to school for psychology actually, and I didn't
Mm.
do anything with my bachelor's.
Mhm.
Then when I had to really think about what, like, deep down, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I love and want to do as a career? And I realized I really like computers, and I'm actually good at it. Like, just understanding, using it. But I was doing something, and I'm like, I like this. I like uncovering what's underneath and how it works, and making something that doesn't currently work but work,
Uh-huh.
for me. And so I started looking at programs at colleges, and I'm like, I think this is what I want to do, is go into computers. So I thought I was going to go and be a programmer. I did the 3-year technical program. I wasn't like at the top of my class. I wasn't like one of those students who were like, it came naturally to me. I worked really
Mm-hmm.
hard to complete it, but it was like I enjoyed it, even though it was really hard. And then when they offered me the internship, it wasn't exactly as a developer or a programmer. It was within IT still, but like an application support admin type role. So I took it because the people that interviewed me, I really liked them, and I felt like they were all older. So I was being interviewed with the other 18-year-olds, right, at the time. But I just felt a connection with the company and the people who were interviewing, and so the department that I would go into. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be a programmer that I went to school for, but I like the department, which was PMO, project management group. And so I went in, I'm like, hey, I hope this is the right decision. It was a really hard decision, like going to school for something and then not taking a job right in that field.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
took a chance, I did it. Then I really I grew to love PMO, like the process part, and then there was an element of IT part of it because we were delivering IT projects, right? And so then I never settled. I just moved on up. And then, so now I'm like a project lead, a technical lead, and I lead the IT projects. So
Awesome. And
yeah,
your mentor, she kind of guided you as well. Like, you don't think you would have had the confidence to say like, "Hey, I want this, I want to go to this next step," if you didn't have her on your side?
yeah. So she wasn't IT person. She was just like a project manager, right? Like,
Mm,
so she gave me was the path to ask for something,
mm,
like, and not settle for what they gave me as
mm.
an intern. It's very slow progress when you just go by the rules. And so she gave me the tools necessary to reach the next level.
That's awesome. Would you
Yeah.
be open to being a mentor to someone if someone reached out to you, or are you already a
Yeah.
mentor?
Yeah. I love giving, like, help back.
So who inspires you now?
I read this question and I was like, nobody inspires me now. I'm like, I don't know.
You?
That's what I initially thought. I'm like, no, but I can't give that answer. So I really thought about it. And I just like, oh, I'm at this level and I don't know that anybody inspires me. But then I really thought about it, and it doesn't have to be career related to be inspired,
Exactly.
right? And so my husband inspires me. Like, he's the most he has the most love I've ever seen in a person. And he's generous, so helpful. I think that if I could just be a little bit more like him, I would be even better person. It's not that I'm not a loving person and generous, because I'm a nice person, right? But I'm also like stiff and awkward,
Hmm.
and so then, and
I have
I
to say
think
he's really funny. My
he is
He's
funny.
hilarious. My belly hurts every time I'm around him. It's
Yes.
been a while,
I think
but
opposites attract, right? Because I'm not really
exactly.
funny, or I don't think I'm really funny and outgoing, and he's just the opposite. So yeah. And then my kids, they inspire me to be young, to stay
Mhm,
young,
mhm.
actually, because um, the mental state matters. They're like, they teach you all these, or they use all these words that's popular. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
When you were in high school, did you know what you wanted to do?
No, no, that's it. Like, I, it's
Do you have
funny.
any regrets though, like not being more persistent on trying to figure it out, or were you just kind of like, I'm living life?
I mean, okay, so I wouldn't be where I am today. So I don't want to say I regret anything, because I love my life today. But if I had to say, if I, were there any regrets, I would have to say that I wish I was more successful sooner. I mean, success is how you define it, but
Exactly.
I went to, you go to university, you expect to get out of school and you get a good job, and you start your career path. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that. I didn't know what I wanted to. I thought, like, all through high school, growing up, I love sports, right? So I played sports with the boys in the neighborhood. In high
Mm-hmm.
school, I played on every team. There
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a team that I didn't like, that I tried out and I didn't make it. Just,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not like an all-star athlete or anything. So never, I was never going to get a career in like being a pro athlete.
Yeah,
Like,
you're not going to the Olympics, I guess. Yeah.
no. So like, what am I going to do? I only love sports. I also like science, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
so I thought, okay, let me just put the two together, science and sports. So I thought I was going to go into sports medicine. Um, I tried to do the kinesiology program, but
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that smart. I didn't make
Or
it.
you just weren't as disciplined as you wanted to be. Honestly,
Maybe.
like you said, a lot of it is discipline because you did that with the computer programming too, right? Where you're like, I wasn't the smartest in the class, but I worked my butt off. I think discipline takes you a long way. That's one of the lessons I'm learning through your conversation here. That if you're disciplined enough and you know exactly what you want, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what? That's probably true. I didn't love it enough, or I didn't want it, and so it's just like, yeah, having to choose a career at
Hmm.
18 is like
Exactly. Yeah.
crazy.
But the thing is, though, we live in an era now where there's just opportunities that you don't even know that are available yet. So
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of just do what you do something, and then you kind of eliminate what you don't like. So for example, you didn't know what you wanted to do, right? And then kinesiology, you didn't have a passion for it. You didn't have if you don't have a passion for it, if you don't like it enough, you're not committed to doing it, you realize actually that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm with you. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh man, I wish I figured out what I want to do. But as I get older, I'm realizing that your desires change too. Because when you're
Yeah.
20, you have different your goals are different, and then when you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s and so on, like your goals change, and
Yeah.
your motivation to live a certain lifestyle changes as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me share my perspective on that. Was excelling something that was pushed on you?
Of course. I
Yeah.
think every Khmer person goes through it. Like, you had to bring home straight A's. Like, it was not a question of like that wasn't a question. You had to.
Yeah, yeah. I remember my mom thinking like she was really scared because there were, some Cambodian kids, maybe 5 or so years older than us, and they didn't finish high school. But then again, they started school later than us, and they've have a memory of the trauma that they went through, right? Whereas us, we were really young when we came to Canada. I was 3.5, you were 1, so we don't have any recollection of living on a refugee camp, or even trying to escape the war in Cambodia, whereas that older generation did. And it was always like my mom always thought that she didn't always thought, but she had a fear that I wouldn't finish high school, that I would be influenced by the gang lifestyle.
Oh, that's funny. You talk about influencing. And I look back and I thought it was wrong, but my parents kept me away from the community because they didn't want me to be part of the hoodlum crowd or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think it was a mistake in that
Hmm.
it also took me away from the culture.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my parents, we left East Hamilton, and then we moved up to the escarpment, where
Yeah.
we were surrounded by white people and a speckling of other races there. There were some people from the Middle East, who
Hmm.
I didn't even know. Like to me they looked white. But yeah, it kind of did take me away from the community, and they tried to they tried their best. They worked a
Yes, they
lot,
tried to
right?
protect you from what they thought were bad influences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same.
Yeah, it's funny because so just going back to my story about like being influenced, not finishing high school, and I'm thinking to like in my head, I'm like, why are you concerned about that? High school is so easy. Like well, for me it was easy because it was a good time for me because I like you, I was really into sports and I had the connection with the sports teams, but like, yeah, just the
Yeah.
subjects were not like, I didn't find them challenging at all, and I feel like I wish if I was in a different environment that I probably would have been pushed even more. But my parents didn't think that my parents probably thought I was being over challenged, even though I came
Oh,
back
really?
home with,
So we
yeah.
had different upbringings, actually.
No, yeah, even though I came home with like, good grades, or maybe not being over challenged, but like being easily influenced.
Okay.
And that like I probably wouldn't finish high school, which I'm like, did it with flying colors. And yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know. They were
awesome for
just, there
you.
was this fear of not
Yeah.
finishing high school and then, having to work a blue collar job like them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that like my
That's
parents
why
too,
it
they
was
did
pushed
not
on
want
me.
me to work in the factory, but they never
Hmm.
had the fear that I wouldn't finish at school, like high
Hmm.
school. That was not even, a thought. It's like you're going to go to university
Hmm.
next.
Yeah. Yeah. So we already talked about like what you're doing for work now. What advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
That a career in IT is possible.
Hmm.
Uh it's just not even a industry that was exposed to me.
Hmm.
Didn't
Hmm.
see it around me. Didn't know it existed. We had like two courses that involved the computers,
Uh-huh.
data processing, and something else I can't remember now.
Be open to other opportunities
Yeah,
outside of the traditional and lean into your interests.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think at the time I didn't know that I was interested either.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. What about your, like, say, your 23-year-old self after finishing university? What advice would you give yourself?
To get a better job. Work harder. I try harder to get a better job because you know what? Okay, I didn't drive.
Mm,
I didn't learn how to drive or didn't get my driver's license, so I was kind of stuck to Hamilton in the bus system.
mm,
And I was like a scared, timid person, so like taking the bus to Toronto was also like not in the options for me. So I guess maybe my 23-year-old self would be get your license, learn how to drive. I drive now, okay, but then I didn't, and so I was stuck. And then I'm like, so I could only apply for jobs that were like local.
mm.
And I probably, I just sent resumes out, but not. In hindsight, I probably should have tried harder. And so I ended up working like minimum wage jobs, which were, yeah. So that's what I would change or tell myself to try
Well,
harder
I
in
mean,
that area.
you took the steps to change your life, so that's what
Just
matters
took a
now,
while.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, better late than never.
Yes, better late than never. But you know what? The takeaway at the end here is to not be so hard on your past self. Like Mary said, deciding exactly what you're going to do at 18 is a big decision. It's huge. So you don't know what path to take. You're kind of wandering around aimlessly. But if you don't want to regret later on that you didn't try hard enough to do something, I'm a firm believer of simply picking something that you think you'll enjoy and work towards that for the time being. And trust me, I practice what I preach. And it won't be a waste of time or money. That experience brings you joy and you gain transferable skills along the way. So if you decide, hey, this isn't right for me, you're still winning. And what matters now, though, is that Mary took the steps to change her life. Our conversation underlines the importance of being exposed to many possibilities. You got to keep your mind open to the unknown. And thank you so much for being on the show, Mary. If a career in IT or project management interests you, feel free to reach out to Mary. She is on LinkedIn. So search for a Dimary Leak, or you can visit the link in the show notes. Last but not least, I want to say Akuntraun for listening to Khmer Voices. I appreciate your support and interest in this so very much. It's motivating me to keep going. And yes, please keep those reviews coming wherever you listen to podcasts.